It's absolutely apptacular. The Subject Cinema Android app. Everything you need to be a rabid Subject Cinema fan. Subject Cinema, 3-Minute Weekend, Tuesday Digidex, and Front Row 5 and 10. All right at your fingertips and available instantly. Plus, email and voicemail links, Facebook and Twitter hookups, Patreon support specials, and more is coming real soon. Don't just listen, app it. The all-in-one Subject Cinema podcast app. Android version available now at Google Play or on PNR Network websites. Amazon and iPhone apps coming soon. Don't delay. Download today.
Blueberry. This podcast is a member of the Blueberry Network. Blueberry. No E's. That's Blueberry, BLUBRRY.com. Blueberry.com.
This podcast is a proud member of the Lamb Podcasting Network. Find the network at largeassmovieblogs.com.
Oh my God! How much longer is this going to go?
It's just a little while longer. We can hang on. Just
damn you and your Star Wars ripoffs idea.
I will.
God, this has been a painful month.
I know.
I haven't seen one this painful since martial arts, masochistic martial arts.
Yes. I take full responsibility for this.
It's martial art. It's masochistic March. We're doing Star Wars ripoffs this year, and boy, have we got a doozy for you this week. And because of all the other stuff going on surrounding the launch of Boston Springs Festival, that's pretty much going to be it. But we'll have fun talking about it right here, right now. I'm T.C. Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
Stick around.
It's Masochistic March on Subject Cinema. Help us!
Stand by to receive our transmission.
This town needs an enema.
Celebrating a decade of film podcasting. Lasting out of Beantown, USA, you're tuned into Subject Cinema with T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown.
Directive.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
I volunteer as tribute.
Suppose you run your business and let me run mine. Here's looking at you, kid.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome T.C. and Kim.
Welcome to Subject Cinema. I'm T.C. Kirkham.
Hi, I'm Kim Brown.
Day and date, March 18, 2018. It is Subject Cinema number 601. We hope you have enjoyed our foray into bad Star Wars films this month. We're a day late this week because we've got other things going on this weekend. We just got back from the Clotrudis Awards, and we'll have coverage of those next week, which will also be on Sunday, by the way. And then the following week we'll be back to Saturday. We'll just have all this crazy stuff going on this week with all the festivals starting. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. Our week was a bit crazy. We missed 2 days of work. Once we were off, and the second one we couldn't get there.
Yep.
So it was crazy.
Yeah, we
because
got
of
hit
these
with
damn
another...
nor'easters, damn Winter Storm Skylar anyway. Now what's next?
We got hit with another nor'easter.
We could get another one while we're off on festival duty.
We got hit with a nor'easter, and they said don't come into work because it's too dangerous. So we went okay. Then the next day they said, well, we're going to come into work, but you have to come in. You can come in late. Okay.
Well, we went in late and got stuck on the T, which got shut down because of a problem with the line somewhere, and we had no way to get to the other T's because it was too windy, muddy, too snowy, and too puddly.
Too dangerous, and we were just like, the hell with it, we're going home.
Yep, and we had the personal time to use, so we used it.
So we went home.
It's been a hell of a week.
It's been bananas.
And in the middle of all that, we got stuck watching this.
Ugh.
I'm going to hurt you so bad. I wanted to do Matt Helm this year.
Yeah.
Which will be better timed for next year because there's a new Matt Helm movie coming out next year with Bradley Cooper.
Right.
So it's like, okay, this is a good choice because Solo is due in just a few weeks, but still.
I mean, I
thought Message from Space was bad.
I realized that going into this, the whole idea of, hey, let's do bad Star Wars movies, bad Star Wars ripoffs and all that, I knew it was going to hurt, but This is a whole level of pain that I was like, I can't take much more of this. I just can't.
So join us and fly back to 1980 as we welcome
the Starship Booby Prize. And
we're not booby. That's from, now, do you know where that's from?
It's from the fact that ship had huge knockers.
Well, no, actually, I'm thinking of a different prize. It's not Booby Prize. I'm thinking of Second Prize. Do you remember where Second Prize was from?
No.
I'll tell you at the end of the show if you remind me.
Okay.
Anyway.
Sorry, this ship had bigger boobs than Dolly Parton.
Let's go back to 1980 and Richard John Boy Thomas starring in Battle Beyond the Stars.
Ruthless invaders, a defenseless planet. Battle beyond the stars. A lone youth escapes on a last-ditch mission that begins at the edge of the universe.
Oh no.
The story of a boy who finds more than he expected.
Okay, let's say up front, this is a Roger Corman production. He didn't direct it, though.
No.
And that it is generally conceived and acknowledged that it's based on the Magnificent Seven.
Yep.
Not Star Wars, but there's Star Wars in all over the place.
They really are.
From 1980, Roger Corman, producer, Jimmy T. Murakami, director, directing Richard Thomas, Robert Vaughn, George Peppard, John Saxon, Sybil Danning, Darlene Flugel, and Skip the Wonder Space Dog.
I think you're like
Art Ferning all over the place. In Battle Beyond the Stars. And I bet you won't be necking with me in 3 seconds when they come back from break.
No.
For those of you who don't know what Art Fern is, it's an old Johnny Carson routine. Anyway.
I can't neck with you from across the room. I'm limber.
I thought you were Plastic Man.
I'm limber, but I'm not that limber.
Plastic Woman, you would have to be, yes.
Anyway, and if there was a
Give
dog...
us the rundown of this.
If there was a dog in this movie...
There should have... Arg! This is what this movie did to us. This movie has so much talent and it's scary and the behind-the-scenes end, and yet we got that.
Yep.
John Sayles wrote the screenplay. He wrote the story with Ann Dyer. John is a screenwriter who's been, written a lot of interesting stuff. James Horner did the score. James Cameron did the special effects for this movie.
Yep.
What the hell? Give us the rundown.
Like I was trying to say before, if there was a dog in this movie, I would have actually paid attention, and I would have actually had a character I gave two spits about. As it was, I didn't. We begin on the peaceful world of Akir, whose inhabitants are known as Akirans.
In tribute to Akira Kurosawa.
Already I'm annoyed. And
well, they admit that, though.
Well, I realize that, but I'm like, you people couldn't carry Akira Kurosawa's bags.
I did do a whole comparison with that yesterday.
Yes, you did.
We were watching this movie. Mm-hmm. Think back to the vice presidential debates with Lloyd Benson and Babyface there. What was his name? Quayle. Vice President to be Quayle. Okay.
AKA that nitwit.
Yes.
So we'll get to that later. So anyway, we have this peaceful farming planet where the people are all the planet for the most part is actually pretty barren. There's only one.
You only see one area.
There's only one area that's actually habitable from the look of things and has, like agriculture and stuff. And the people that live there are all like earthy, crunchy, hippie, we're not violent types, And they are besieged by a warlord named Sador, who is the ruler of the Malmori Empire. So I guess that would make him the emperor? Because it's John Saxon, don't even
let me do what I need to do. Anyway,
don't even go there. And because it's the 80s and it's a movie with John Saxon in it, so of course he's a bad guy. Hey, John. Loved you in Planet Earth, babe. Don't ever change. The ship that he's piloting...
Wow, that's carbon dating.
Yeah, I know. I was Planet Earth, too, I think, actually. The ship that Sador flies around in, which is called the Hammerhead, which makes absolutely no sense.
It had a T thing that made it look like a hammerhead shark at the beginning, at the front of it. But you could barely see it because our print was bad.
I guess.
We could barely see the stars.
Yeah. There were so many shots during this movie, I'm going, no stars, 3 stars, no stars, 2
Wait,
stars,
I think
no
there
stars.
were stars, but I was just our print was too dark to see them. If I'm wrong, let me know.
Anyway. The ship is mounted with a awesome weapon called a stellar converter, which, is this terrible weapon that turns planets into small stars, destroys all the life and converts the energy and blah, blah.
It's a Genesis planet machine.
It's science.
Science!
Or an unreasonable facsimile. He tells, via a holographic image, he tells the people of Akira that he's already conquered them and that he is going to, in 7 risings of your red giant, which sounds really... Huh?
7 days.
Yeah. Translate that to 7 days. If they don't surrender to him, he's going to blow up their planet, blah, 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 because he's an evil bad guy. We actually get a couple of moo-ha-has during this movie, which I was like, wow. The village elder of these people, because the people are all like, oh, what do we do? Panic, panic, panic. We're peaceful and helpless and don't know what to do. The leader, an elderly blind gentleman named Zed, who was the last of a group of warriors back when these people were warriors, I guess.
He was the last of the famous Akira Corsairs,
who are so famous we've never heard of them.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Why are they naming themselves after? Oh no, they didn't. Never mind. Forget it. I blew my own joke.
Blew your own joke. Anyway. So
I'm tired. It's been a long day.
His plan is to hire mercenaries to fight for them. I'm like, okay. Like, never mind training your own people, dying to the last man, this is Sparta kind of thing. No, we're going to get somebody else to do our dirty work. So anyway, the problem is Akira, as far as resources to offer to mercenaries, they don't actually have any. The only thing they can offer is food and shelter. Great. So it's like you're asking a Motel 6 to be, like... I'm like, you can get that your average days in, can't you? Going forward.
Okay.
Because Zed can't go because he's old and mostly blind. I think he might be not totally blind, but he's pretty close to blind.
Jeff Corey sure played it as blind.
Yeah. He does have a ship from his time as a Corsair, and if they can find someone to pilot it, they'll send them out and they'll go find mercenaries and come back. The ship is... it's still got, it's an old ship, but it still works and it still runs and it still fires weapons. And it has an AI who's a right bitch.
Her name is Nell.
And her name is Nell, which rhymes with hell, which would...
She was a bit bitchy and opinionated for an AI.
Think B. Arthur as an AI, and you pretty much...
It wasn't that bad. It wasn't. It was more like what you'd get if you put Lieutenant Commander Data and Christine Chapel together.
Chapel was never that big of a bitch. What are you talking about?
No, but I'm saying that the voice and the way she carried itself, and Data was always so about,
Data was always so literal. That was
exactly.
Yeah,
so
but
was Nell.
Nell. No, I'm sorry. I'm sticking with my description. Picture Nell as B. Arthur's character from the Golden Girls as an AI. And
so she's Dorothy Zbornak as an AI.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's too strong. Anyway.
Lacking the warmth and humanity. Anyway.
Oh, so she's Sophia.
Anyway, yeah, but Sophia had a stroke, so I'm trying to be kind here.
Thank you for being a friend. Let's move on.
Moving forward, all the Deadpool fans must be loving this part of it. Anyway, you know who you are, and if you're a Deadpool fan, you got that joke. A young man named Shad says that he'll pilot the ship, and the thing is, because this is an AI, they're worried that it won't accept him as the pilot, but he's actually taken Nell and driven her before. Not touching that. And so he's going to go on this mission to try and find some mercenaries to save his planet. So he goes to a space station that he knows about that is run by a Dr. Hephaestus, who was an old friend of Zed, so he thinks he'll go to him and try and get some help. The thing is it turns out the station is, there are actually 2 people on this rather big station. I mean, it's populated, but there's only 2 people. Everybody else on the station is apparently an android. And they all look like refugees from a Shields and Yarnell act. You know, they're doing the whole robot thing and everywhere. Even though they're not robots, they're androids.
I thought his butler was pretty good, actually. I thought that was pretty good.
No, I'm actually being... I shouldn't be so mean. They were actually doing... That's hard to do.
It is,
that whole pop and lock thing. It's not easy. Dr. Hephaestus...
Does that mean if they do a remake of it, they can get the kid from America's Got Talent to do it? Americana? Him and his robot routine.
If you suggest remaking this movie,
he can play Shad. He's getting old enough to play Shad.
If you suggest remaking this movie, I'm going to throw this laptop at your head.
Love you, Merrick. Just trying to get you some work.
Anyway.
What
part of laptop at your head are you
Okay, move on.
Anyway, so the thing is, Dr. Hephaestus himself...
is Davros.
No, actually, Davros would look at him and go, wow, I thought I looked bad. Because at least Davros has an upper torso and all that. I mean, granted, he's ugly as the butt end of an elephant.
Well, it depends on which version of Davros. He only has a head in a couple of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that like later ones?
Revelation of the Daleks with Colin Baker. He only has a head.
Oh.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Well, he got better because he's got a whole torso in some of the Peter Capaldi ones. But,
they brought him back?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't watched it anyway.
I mean, like I said, he looks like the butt end of an elephant. He's that ugly. But Dr. Hephaestus is only, from what I can tell, he's pretty much just a head. And I think possibly his lungs in what looked like, it was like his head and his lungs on top of a garbage can. It kind of looked like. I was like, dude evicted Oscar the Grouch. That's harsh. The only other person that lives on the station is the doctor's daughter, Naniela. I hope I said that even close to correct. Who takes care of her father. I don't entirely know how. Take him out for a brisk drag around the space station. You got me. And takes care of the androids. The doctor has his own plans because his whole thing is... Because Shad shows up and is all like, hey, we need your help. And the doctor's all like, can't help you. Your planet's doomed. Sorry, but stay around here and bonk my daughter. It's
we'll
pretty
have children then going around. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's like, his whole thing is your planet's doomed. We can't do anything for them, but please stay here and, wind up, having sex with my daughter and having a whole bunch of children. What? That seems like kind of a shift.
That's not going to go over well in the Me Too era either.
Not really, no.
No.
So, Shad's basically like, no thanks. I mean, your daughter's hot and all that, but my people are kind of, relying on me, so I got to go. And he manages to get Naniela to help him to get out of this nut house. She follows...
that's strange, because I don't remember how they pronounce that name, and we just watched this thing yesterday, interminably.
Naniela?
Naniela? I don't
know. I'm not sure. They didn't say her name very much. They said Shad's name enough times that I'm like, yes, I remember. His name is Shad. Fine. That would have been a great drinking game. Take a drink every time they say his name. You'd be dead of alcohol poisoning by the end of this movie.
Anyway.
She follows behind in her own ship, because although she doesn't have any weapons to bring along, she brings along a computer system so they can try and figure out the enemy's attack before the attack actually happens. I don't see how this is, productive, but what the hell. So they decide they're going to split up to try and find more mercenaries. I'm like, more mercenaries? They haven't found any friggin' mercenaries yet. You've just got this dumb bird following after you.
She wasn't the brightest
she
bulb on the light.
I'm like, okay, so her dad's like this super genius scientist, so apparently she
was fine in the smarts department. It was in the life department, because she'd lived her whole life with just her father and androids on that station. It's similar to the whole situation on Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
So,
although you'd think a young woman that had lived her whole life with androids and stuff like that, why would you want a guy? Men get tired.
All right, not going into heavy metal territory. Let's move on.
Android's just going to keep going
Okay. Family show.
All right. What? I was just talking about dancing. What? You have a dirty mind, sir. Anyway, so back on Akir, things are not going very well because, for one thing, they all know that they're under the clock. And Sador left behind a ship. Now, Sador's crew are all these ugly-looking mutant guys that look like the makeup was done by your drunk sister at your Halloween party.
Right. Now, after he threatened Akir, he left a ship behind to watch the planet while he went and took care of another victim he'd threatened a few days earlier.
Yeah.
Then he was coming back.
Yeah. So these guys are watching the planet. The two dudes that are in this one scout ship, they're watching the planet, and they see this young woman, and they're like, "Hey, she's hot." So they were like, one guy's like, "Well, we can't go down and grab her," and the other guy's like, "Well, we're not leaving the ship." They just beam her up onto the ship and proceed to sexually assault her. Nice. As it turns out, this young woman is Shad's sister, Maul, and she, after being attacked, winds up grabbing the controls of the ship and crashes it, killing her rapist and herself. I was like, damn. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's the way we're going to do stuff. I was like, well, so much for the whole waiting for someone to rescue you stuff. Just make sure your rapists die on your own. That's proactive.
Right. Next.
We actually do find an actual honest-to-blog mercenary at one point, amazingly enough. A guy that calls himself Cowboy. Baby, with his arms.
Stop it.
Sorry.
She was doing that all the way through the movie yesterday.
I like that song.
I don't care. We're not talking about the song. We're talking about the movie.
And I had to stay awake somehow. It turns out that this guy is a freighter pilot from the planet Earth, who wound up being ambushed by some space hijackers while delivering a shipment of guns to another planet called Umatil. Shad winds up fighting off the hijackers and saves Cowboy a couple of times. They show up at Umatil just in time to see Sador blow it up with this stellar converter. The reason Sador blew it up is because...
Well, he doesn't really blow it up. He turns it into stars.
Yeah, incinerates the planet and turns it into a star. However you'd word that. I don't know how you'd word that.
It changes the planet into billions and billions of tiny stars.
Okay, whatever. The reason that happened is because he had sent an emissary to this planet and was all like, the emissary's all like, hey, you have to surrender to my boss or he's going to F your planet up. So the emissary was sent back in a bag, a very small bag, very teeny bag, about the size of your average small, thing of candy from like a bulky treat store. It wasn't attractive. Sador, needless to say, gets all irritated because that guy was his favorite squash partner. No, he wasn't. I'm just kidding. And Sador's all like, "Fine, kablam," and Umatil gets all, blown to hell.
Starred.
Gets all blown to hell and becomes a star, and so we're assuming everybody on it gets killed.
Doesn't become a star. That's what I'm saying. It takes one planet and breaks it up into millions of little tiny pieces, which all turn into stars.
Okay.
Stellar converter.
Fine. Okay, great. Well, the bottom line, everybody on the planet's dead.
Yes, there we go.
Okay. Too late, didn't read. Too long, didn't read. Everybody on the planet's dead. So, the problem is that Cowboy doesn't have enough fuel to take the weapons, because now he's got a whole bunch of weapons and nobody to sell them to. And he's like, well, I can't get back to Earth with these because I won't have enough fuel. Do you want them? And Shad's all like, well, yeah, that would be great. Except for the fact that the people that my people don't fight, and they don't know how to, shoot guns and all this stuff like that. And won't you come back with us and help them to train to be warriors? Because if they don't, my planet's going to die, and that would suck. So they wind up, and Cowboy's all like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And on the way, they wind up meeting another ship, which is run by a bunch of clones. They're these dudes that are, their ship is all white. I mean, all white outside and all white inside, and all white is in crew. And when I say white, I don't mean Caucasian. I mean
sheet.
White. Polar bear in a blizzard white. The planet of the whiteout people.
Otherwise known as Nestor.
Now, Nestor is not the name of the planet, or the name of the people, or even the name of the guy that's the head of the crew. No. Nestor, as it turns out, is a group consciousness.
Borg!
Well, yeah, but they're nice.
Okay, fine.
They're not Borg, because Borgs are a-holes. Well, they're not out there being all like, resistance is futile, you'll be assimilated,
right,
blah, blah, blah.
Right, true enough.
Actually, they're more, you're not going to like this comparison either.
Boy.
No, they're actually more like, they're not really like the Borg so much as they are like those brain thingies in Operation Annihilate from the original series of Star Trek, because they bring up that there are parts of Nestor all over the galaxy.
Are you thinking of the Gamesters of Triskelion?
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of that one episode that you can't stand.
I didn't know they had a hive mind. Did they have a hive mind?
Yeah. They mentioned that each one of those things...
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. They mentioned in Operation Annihilate that each one of those things...
I saw that one when I was a kid, and it scarred me for life, and I haven't been able to watch it since.
Yeah.
So it's the only episode of the original Trek I've never seen.
Each one of those things was basically a brain cell.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah. So basically, no, that's okay. It traumatized you. I dig it. So basically, the thing is that there's this group Nestor. There's Nestors everywhere, and Nestor sends out these parts of himself, herself, itself. I don't know. And they're they're looking for excitement. They're like, because Nestor is apparently thousands of years old and blah blah. Their whole thing is that they're bored and they're looking for excitement. The whole idea of possibly getting killed helping a bunch of people they never met before sounds super keen and exciting, so they're on board. They
don't even require payment.
Nope. They're all like, nope, we'll just do it for the fun of it.
Yep.
Okay. That's kind of scary, really, when you think about it. Their whole thing is that they need to be entertained, and they've decided that this is entertaining.
Yeah.
Great! You guys would have been a real laugh and a half at the charge of the Light Brigade. Wow.
So they really are the Gamesters of Triskelion then.
Kind of. But their whole thing is but their whole thing is, instead of watching to the sidelines,
yes, they're
involved. They're all like, wee-hee, let's jump in the middle of it. Yay! That's kind of nuts.
It is.
They're like adrenaline junkies, like revved up. So Shad winds up recruiting another person, a man named Gelt, who is living on this one space. It looks like it's on one planet.
It looks like a sex casino.
Yeah, it's a planet that at one point was like, think of the sleaziest, skeeviest, scuzziest place you can think of in Vegas.
I don't think it was a planet. I think it was a ship, a large floating ship.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Well, this whole thing is, like I said, think of the skeeviest, scuzziest, nastiest place you could think of in Vegas, and set it
Times Square in 1970.
Yeah, and set it in space.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got this place. Gelt is there all alone. Other than the sex bots, and we won't talk about the sex bots.
Yeah.
The sex bots. The crazy thing is, this guy is an assassin. Like a wicked, super good at his job, crazy, Deathstroke times a cajillion good at his job assassin. And he's got like a shite ton of money, but because he's killed so many people, he can't go anywhere, like, you know, out in the galaxy. He can't show up on any planet that's got any kind of civilization, because the second they see him, they'll be like, get him! So he's basically decided to live on this one planet surrounded by all of this wealth that he can't spend and be there alone, which is kind of sad, really. And Shad explains the situation, and Gelt isn't all like, you know, well, I'll do it because it's a noble cause or even because you can pay me. It's just, his whole thing is when Shad explains, like, we don't have anything to pay you in regards to riches and stuff, we can only give you a place to, you know, we can give you a place to sleep in peace and you know, food. And Gelt's all like, fine.
I'll take it.
He's kind of a man of few words.
Uh-huh.
He makes Worf look like a sparkling conversationalist.
Good tea, nice house.
I don't really think that's wrong. He's not exact. He's like Severus Snape level when it comes to warm and fuzzies.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, seriously. It turns out though he's got a banging ship. The ship's he can maneuver it really well. It's got a lot of weapons on it. There's a big surprise because, you know, hello, assassin. While they're headed back to Akir, Shad is, I don't know if attacked is the right word. Annoyed.
She's being playful.
Annoyed might be a better word. By a woman in a solo craft. Her name is Saint Eggsman. Saint Eggsman.
Of the Valkyrie Warriors.
The Valkyrie.
Which is a weird way to pronounce that word. Valkyrie Warriors.
The Valkyrie Warriors, that's apparently a planet now, because Valkyrie was the way everybody else said it before that. But, I mean, never mind the fact that she's dressed like a Valkyrie. If Boris Vallejo drew it. Not that I'm knocking Boris Vallejo or his art. It's amazing. But let's be perfectly honest, not a lot of clothing. Just saying.
Yep.
And the fact that this character is played by Sybil Danning makes it very obvious, once again, not a lot of clothing. Not that that's a bad thing. Sybil Danning is a beautiful lady, and in this movie is extremely blessed. She is...
Just like Shad's ship.
Yeah. Oh, that ship is blessed. Wow. I'm sorry.
I didn't see this. She did. I never... It just didn't form in my head the way it formed in hers.
Well, I don't see why you always complain that Voyager looks like a pregnant guppy, but, you know...
No, not Voyager. Excelsior.
Excelsior, yeah. Sorry. I knew it was one of the starships, but...
That was what they called it online, in the magazines. Before the internet, kids... Anyway.
Back when we used to have to sit by firelight waiting
and we had
for
to read Starlog to get science fiction information.
The thing is...
I'm being so sarcastic. I'm sorry.
Saint X-Men is from a race of people that believe that, you know, being a warrior is all important, that you should basically live fast, die young. And
live for the battle.
Yeah, live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse is pretty much what they live by. And she has a ship that's quite tiny. I mean, it's a very small ship. But it goes quite fast, and she keeps buzzing Shad's ship. Like, just getting
using
close.
Just light strikes instead of weapon strikes.
Yeah. She's basically going, does this bug you? Does this bug you? Does this bug you?
Yeah, pretty much.
With a ship. Which
and John Boy Skywalker's getting pissed.
Which seems monstrously unsafe, but so does her outfit. So, because you'd think you'd catch pneumonia walking around pretty much naked.
But the ship might be heated really well. We don't know.
Well, I hope it is.
Anyway,
you think that poor girl.
Let's move on.
If that poor girl got a chest cold, it would be fatal. So anyway,
she's not Chesty Morgan.
So she's all like, "Hey, let me join up with your battle and all that stuff."
He's
like that.
Go away.
Yeah,
but she doesn't.
Yeah, he's basically like, "Go away, you bother me." Translation: "Go away, you've hurt my male pride." I mean, come on, is that what
Especially
it is?
since he's a total rookie at this and makes an ass of himself a number of times.
Yeah, and he's really kind of a douche. And she doesn't take no for an answer because...
You were complaining that he was whiny.
He is whiny.
No, he's not. Luke Skywalker is whiny for the first 40 minutes of the original Star Wars film. I want to go to town. I want to do this. I want to do that. He's not interested in helping out on the farm. All he does is whine and complain. So this kid is nothing on Luke Skywalker in the first movie. I just wanted to get that in. All right, let's move on.
Are you done?
I'm done. I just wanted to get that in. I said that to you yesterday.
Fine. You were wrong yesterday, too.
Hey, am I wrong or am I right? Subject Cinema at PNRNetworks.com. We'll see. Let's see what the listeners say.
For those of you who forgot that there was that blonde chick earlier, back in the other part of the film.
Nanalia.
Yeah, Nanalia, whatever her name is, her. Nuvina, whatever.
No, it wasn't.
Nutella, whatever her name is. She winds up being caught by this creature named Cayman. He's from a race called the Lazuli. He looks more
He's
like...
an alligator.
No, he's a caiman. Well, actually, he looked more like a snake.
Yeah, he does have more of a snake look with the eyes and stuff. It's
more of a snake thing than a lizard thing, but apparently they thought, Snake Man of the Planet Python might be a little too obvious. He winds up having... He catches her and plans on selling her.
No, he plans on eating her.
Well, at first, he was like eater, seller, not really sure which. His crew are a bunch of these little weird little dudes that don't talk and they give off heat.
By a bunch, she means two.
Yeah. Well, those
there's
are the only
thermal.
Well, there's those two little dudes and the other guy.
Yeah.
The guy that is their
his assistant.
His assistant. Yeah, that has like the electronic space harpoon because they're like hunters or something. They wind up saving her from some kind of intergalactic. I don't even know what it was. It looked like the lights of Zetar from that episode of Star Trek.
It did.
They save her from that, and they're all like, hey, we've saved you, so now we're going to eat you or sell you, whichever. Until they find out what she's doing, that she's trying to find, people to help get, this whole thing with this, planet and Sodor and all that stuff. Sador and all that stuff.
Ha-ha! And that's your go-to moment.
Yeah.
Because Cayman's people were wiped out by Sador years ago, and he wants Sador's head.
Yeah, he's like, okay, what now? And she's all like, we're trying to defeat him, and he's like, okay, cut her down, we're going on this mission. And so it's like, okay, so I'm not getting eaten, yay. So everybody winds up showing back up on Akira, including the annoying Valkyrie. I'm saying it that way, I don't care. Valkyrie is just stupid. When they first show up, there's like nobody around. Everybody's hiding. And I'm like, well, that's a hell of a way to treat the people showing up to save your ass. But these people, like their whole peaceful farmer thing, and they're very leery of violent races, even ones who come to save their worthless hides. Sador does come back, and his forces wind up being attacked by the people that Shad brought, the mercenaries, and Sador's all like, the hell? How did this happen? Gelt winds up fighting fighting against the main ship, dodging and stuff like that, but he winds up getting shot down anyway. Cowboy and the people of the planet wind up...
Who he's been teaching how to use these guns.
Yeah.
After this kind of barbecue-y scene where they're all having talks with the local natives.
Yeah, getting, finding out about the people they're going to be saving and stuff.
Right.
The thing is, the Malmori have this thing called a sonic tank, which winds up that's what it does. It, blasts sonics and people can't... If you can't hear and you've got blood pouring out of your ears, you can't fight. The thing is, as it turns out, those two little dudes from Cayman's ship, the ones that give off this amazing amount of heat, they're all like, we'll go fight the sonic tank because they don't have ears.
Yeah?
That kind of makes a lot of sense, really.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out there and they stand in front of the tank and they're all like, and these are little teeny munchkin dudes, and they're all like, boom, big flash of light, and the tank goes splody. the thing is, a lot of the troops, Sador's troops wind up taking heavy losses. Yay! But the problem is that a lot of the people of Akir wind up getting killed as well, and that includes Zed, which is sad.
Next, they try sending off Nestor to Sador's ship, or a Nestor. Mm-hmm. And Sador, who is missing an arm, decides to use him as a donor.
Yeah.
Which is the plan. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, but doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Nestor, once the arm is on, he's killed the Nestor that's sent there, and the arm has been sliced off and attached to Sador. The Nestor's hive mind take control of the arm and try to assassinate him, but unfortunately,
it doesn't work.
They come onto it not quite soon enough, and they slice the arm off again, and they lose their chance.
Yeah.
They're very disappointed.
Also, Gelt winds up dying, but in a really good scene, he's brought back, he's mortally wounded, and has this really touching moment with Shad before he dies. And after he's passed on, Shad says that when they bury him, that they need to bury him with a meal, because that's what he had promised him as payment, somewhere quiet to rest and a meal. Mm-hmm. And I thought, in the middle of all of this rampant stupidity, I actually thought
that was actually the one good scene in the entire film.
That
it
really was. It was a really beautiful scene. I thought it was really well done. Sador's all like, we're going to blow the flip out of this planet now. Saint X-Men winds up blowing herself up to knock out the stellar converter on the ship. And that winds up blowing up and wiping out Sador's aerospace forces. But Hammerhead's still in operation and winds up picking off the rest of the mercenaries. And only the ship, Nell, is left, piloted by Shad and
although she's lost her memory.
Yeah, she's been hitting them. She can still fire and stuff like that, but she's all like, "Who are you? Where are we?" and all this stuff like that, because her memory's been damaged. And the ship winds up getting captured by the Hammerhead's tractor beam, and Shad realizes the only thing that they can do, the last thing they can do to try and end all of this insanity, is to blow Nell up once she's close enough to the Hammerhead that it can actually do some damage. And so he tells her to start her self-destruct program, which doesn't take all of the falderall and that it does on Star Trek, because you have to have like 4 people say their little thing on Star Trek.
She just wishes them the best and then starts her countdown. 14, 7, 18, 9, 12, 4, 16, 31.
Because computers with brain injuries are fun. Oh, man. Sador tells Nell that they need to surrender, and Nell's response is basically, "Surrender this, you son of a bitch." And the ship blows up, which causes the stellar converter to go through a backfire sequence and winds up destroying the Hammerhead. Now, by this point...
With John Saxton as Sador standing there, "No, I want to live forever.
I was going to live
forever.
I
want to live forever."
Yeah.
Throwing a real, true male hissy fit.
And just for the record, my heart will go on. Shad and Nelia escaped via escape pod back to Akir, and it's basically like, it's we're home and everything's safe and our planet's safe, but everyone that we got involved in this whole mess is dead. And Shad talks to her about the teachings of this planet's. We all through this whole movie we've heard about the Varda, the word of the Varda, the law of the Varda. And we've never actually seen the Varda or anything like in regards to like a place of worship or whatever. But we're assuming the Varda are the theological source for this planet. Mm-hmm. Their deities or deity. It's never made clear if this is like a pantheon system or some monotheistic religion or whatever. But he says the teachings of the Varda, nobody is truly dead when they have been loved and are celebrated by the living.
And guess what? He's decided it wouldn't be so bad to mate with Nutella.
Whatever.
After all.
Yep. And that all of the people that gave their lives to keep the planet from being destroyed and their sacrifices will be honored forever in the legends of the people of Akir. And boom, it ends. Abrupt fade to black, and that's it. Closing credits, we're done. Everybody go home.
Couldn't come soon enough. With Richard Thomas as Shad, a.k.a. John Boy Skywalker. Robert Vaughn as Gelt. John Saxon as Sador. George Peppard as Space Cowboy.
Baby.
Darlene Flugel, as Nanella. Sybil Danny as Saint X-Men. Sam Jaffe as Dr. Hephaestus. Jeff Corey as Zed the Corsair. Morgan Woodward as Cayman. Marta Christensen as Lux. And Akira, who ends up falling for Cowboy. Lynn Carlin provides the voice of Nell. Earl Bowen as the main Nestor, with John Gowans as Nestor 2. Larry Miles and Lara Cody as the two Kelvins who communicate through body heat. Yeah. Steve Davis as Quaypeg, another member of Cayman's crew.
He was the one with the space harpoon.
And Julia Duffy in one of her earliest appearances as Shad's ill-fated sister, Maul. And she has dark hair here. It was very weird seeing her with dark hair.
It was very weird seeing her not be annoying. I'm sorry, Miss Duffy. I'm sorry if you're out there.
She's made a career out of those kind of characters on Newhart, on Wizards and Warriors, on Baby Talk, on everything. So
her character on Wizards and Warriors, I was like, why?
Oh my
is
God,
everybody,
her character was a riot on that show.
I was like, why is
And
everybody
Designing Women
pursuing this broad? I just
man, this movie sucks with a capital S. I thought Message from Space was hard to get through. I'd rather sit through Star Crash and Message from Space again than watch this again.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm sorry. I could not. Star Crash at least is easy to make fun of because of Marjo Gortner and David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Message from Space was bad, but it had
Message
its
from
moments.
Space at least has Sonny Chiba in it, you know. It's
Well,
like,
this movie has Robert Vaughn and John Saxon, which you can't compare to
No!
Sonny Chiba.
I mean,
George Peppard especially. I mean, seriously.
basically, this character's Hannibal without the A-Team.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is obviously before the A-Team, but it's like... Yeah, but the one thing is, at least on the A-Team, it's like you had people, like, cars flipping over and, like, blowing up and stuff, and people stumbling out, like, what happened?
Yeah.
That's not what happened with this movie. No, people died, for serious. This film is obviously, I mean, it's so obviously an amalgam of Star Wars and The Magnificent Seven, which was a complete and utter ripoff of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. Wow. Oh, wow, this movie hurts.
Yeah.
So much.
It is terrible. I mean, that is the only way to put it. And I'm sorry. I like so many people that's in this cast.
I know. So did I.
Even Richard Thomas, who has never been able to shake John Boy, unfortunately. But it's like, really?
It's so... It's just... There's so much about this movie that's... The thing about this movie that really bothers me is the fact that I don't care about any of these characters at all whatsoever except one. Although the Nestor did seem nice. They were like, you know... They were like weird, but they were nice. But I did like the character of Gelt. I would have watched a whole movie about him. He just seemed
I
like
like that character too. He was interesting. I like Robert Vaughn anyway. So
he was interesting. I think his backstory would have been cool. I think his death scene was really nice. It was really well done, and that was the one time in the whole damn movie that I really liked Richard Thomas's character, because the whole thing about, you know, giving him a meal, having him buried with a meal and all that. I thought that scene was really beautiful.
Here's the really sad, frightening thing about science fiction in America post Star Wars.
Yep.
This thing was nominated for 4 Saturn Awards: Best Science Fiction Film, Best Special Effects, Best Costumes, and Best Makeup, and it did win a Special Achievement Award for the well-endowed Sybil Danning. Mm-hmm. And they've never nominated Supernatural.
Nope.
Okay, that's
so
just
the Saturn
that's a crime.
Awards can. I got 2 words for you.
Well, let's save that for your show. Oh my God, this movie is so bad.
This movie is so
This
bad.
was James Cameron's first big gig in Hollywood.
Yep.
He was hired originally just to help out, but then took over when they fired the art director, and he became responsible for the special effects, which aren't bad, I'm sure, if the print isn't too dark to see. I mean, the ships look well designed and everything, but I'm sorry. Oh, man.
There's so much wrong
And in
with
just 2 years, he would leap to Terminator.
Yep. Which he would also use Earl Bowen in.
Well, Earl Bowen's in everything.
Yeah, Earl Bowen's definitely one of those, hey, it's that guy. You see him frickin' everywhere.
I recognized the voice on Nestor, but I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. It was Earl Bowen.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't recognize him under that white costume. So.
Yeah, but can you do the line you did yesterday?
What line?
Even though you just complained out the Lang line that Lucas was so whiny in the first 45 minutes of Star Wars, even though I think you're wrong. He's chafing. He's a rebellious teen, But you brought...
He's a farmer. He's not a teenager.
No, Uncle Owen wants him to be a farmer. And
no, I'm talking about Shad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Shad's I don't want to be a warrior. I want to be just a farm person.
Well, what line did you mean that I used?
You said you were quoting, to paraphrase Lloyd Benson.
To paraphrase our lovely Senator Lloyd Benson, when it comes to meeting Shad and Luke Skywalker, I knew Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker was my friend. You, sir, are no Luke Skywalker.
Damn Skippy. Damn Skippy.
And it's a shame, because Richard Thomas is a good actor. And, I mean, he got so stuck in John Boy in the Waltons for 12 years.
He actually got a lot of positive press and stuff. I remember from an episode of Law and Order Special Victims.
Now he's finally starting to do it, but back then he was stuck.
Yeah, he was very typecast as the whole wholesome, well, I'm sorry, look at the guy. I mean, no offense, Richard, but, you did look
and
like...
all that space technology still couldn't get rid of that mole on his face.
Oh, my frog, really? Oh, my frog, that's the hill you want to die on?
Well, I'm sorry.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Well, they were saying all this, how great medical technology this ship was and everything else, and there's that huge mole that he's always had. So...
Rude.
I'm sorry. I know it was, but it was obvious. Battle Beyond the Stars is not available for streaming unless you dig it up on YouTube. Like we did. The print is a bit dark and somewhat incomprehensible when the voices get really soft, but it's worth it, I guess.
Considering what we're going to
if you like the kind of pain that we had. Now, next weekend... Is next weekend our last Masochistic March? No, we have one more after.
No,
it is. No, it is.
Yeah, it is, because the next week is...
Because we won't... No, we do have one more after it on the 31st. Oh. So, next weekend, we're not sure what we're going to do yet as far as the Masochistic Star Wars. We know it's coming the 31st. Mm-hmm. The Turkey Star Wars is coming the 31st. Next week, we'll dig up something else for you on Masochistic March Star Wars Ripoffs. We're going to mosey on out of here for right now. We hope you like the pain of Battle Beyond the Stars. Mm-hmm. We're sorry the show is so short this week. We have got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
As I said, it's late on Sunday evening. We just got back from Cloturtis Awards, and it was a lot of fun this year.
Had a great time.
We'll have the full rundown next week. In any case, this next week is going to be very, very busy, and you can see most of our stuff on eCinemaBoston.com. We have 5 festivals all coming up this week. And we'll be covering all of them as best we can. We will be on the ground at one of them, putting up reports and putting up videos and recording stuff for our annual trip to the festival circuit, maybe some pictures and video. Be watching eCinemaBoston for that. Also, don't forget, our regular shows this week will be up at their regular time. Catastrophe Vortex on Monday, Tuesday Digidex on Tuesday. what's your show? Ring Around the Rosie on Wednesday and 3 Minute Weekend on Friday. Front Row 5 and 10 is taking this week off because we don't have time to do it.
Yep.
And then Saturday and Sunday we'll be back with our other shows.
I also want to bring up real quick, Platinum Rose's Garden, my Supernatural podcast, is available. This week's Supernatural is back with a repeat episode, Devil's Bargain, which I've already done a review for. So if you want to go back and listen to that or listen to anything else from this season.
And we're only a week away from Scooby Natural, the all-animated episode where they cross over with the Scooby-Doo gang.
Yeah.
This is one I'm actually going to watch, not with her, but I will watch it. I think it's going to be funny as hell.
I'm going to quote another movie right now. I'm so scared.
Thank you, Blair Witch Project.
Anyway, but you can check out my stuff right now at PlatinumRosesGarden.com. And if you'd like to go over and listen to Ring Around the Rosie, I hope you will do so. This past week, I try and keep it a light show and fun and silly and stuff like that. But there was something rather serious that I needed to discuss.
And it's now been rectified.
Yes,
so
it
that's
has,
good.
amazingly enough.
You know why that is, though?
I can think of several reasons why.
Let's be honest here. We'll just give a little rundown. WWE does not like the internet.
Oh, no.
And there is a reason why they don't like the internet. Back in 1996 or 97, the internet went wild with a protest over a match that many of the fans thought would be detrimental to one of the wrestlers involved.
Mm-hmm.
That particular protest was actually acknowledged on the air by Jim Cornette.
Yep. In a way that we both kind of looked at each other and went, I think the gauntlet just got thrown down.
Yes, and I have to be honest. We didn't mean to take down the WWE servers.
No, but we laughed our heads off when it happened.
Because that was at the beginning and the internet was just starting, and it was yours truly that launched the boycott. So it was, because I'm a huge fan of Sean Waltman, and I said the Crybaby match against Razor Ramon would end his career, and I was right. They didn't listen to me, and 6 months later he was in WCW as Six-Pack.
Yep.
So it's like, you didn't listen. This time, they listened to the fans. Mm-hmm. Stephanie McMahon went on and acknowledged that they were changing the name of this this women's battle royal at WrestleMania because they had named it for Fabulous Moolah, and a lot of stuff had come out that Moolah was not the fabulous person that her persona meant. And so Stephanie acknowledged the fans and said that they're just going to call it the WrestleMania women's match.
Yep.
Women's Battle Royal.
Yep.
So that's at least something. The WWE has gotten a little bit more mature. And Vince wanted to dig in his heels.
Probably.
He did. But Stephanie McMahon and her husband, Paul Levesque, otherwise known as Triple H, are running a lot of the creative this day. They actually do pay attention to what happens on the internet.
Yep.
And they do, they're kind of a buffer between the fans and Vince.
Yeah.
So I don't get involved the way I used to. But I'm proud of what happened at the Crybaby match.
I am. What had happened, like TC mentioned, the WWE announced that they were going to have a battle royal as part of WrestleMania where for the women. They already have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal for the men. So it was announced, hey, we're going to have this match for the women, and everybody went, yay! And then it was like, oh, well, we're going to call it the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal, and everybody went, what? Because a lot of stuff
came out over the last year.
A lot of allegations, and it's not good. And the internet went, F you, we're not standing for this. And for once, they listened. Yeah. Which I think is really fascinating.
It took them 4 days and 2 days of Vince digging in.
Yeah.
But they did. All right, so before we started the thing on Battle Beyond the Stars, I asked you if you remembered where the Starship second prize came from. You said you didn't remember.
No, I don't.
Does anyone else out there remember? It was a Filmation show from 1975 called The Secret Lives of Waldo Kitty.
Oh, yeah.
Waldo Kitty was a cat, and they had live-action cats and dogs at the beginning and end, and a cartoon with the characters, because he was like a Walter Mitty cat.
He would daydream about being a hero.
And several of the segments involved him being captain of the Starship second prize. There's a great trivia note for you. You can use it to win at Trivia Week at your local bar. So there you go. Until next time. For Subject Cinema, I'm T.C. Kirkham.
I'm Kim Brown.
May your popcorn always be buttered.
And may your roses always be in bloom.
Masochistic March continues.
We're so brave, we deserve a medal.
You have been listening to Subject Cinema with hosts T.C. Kirkham and Kim Brown. Subject Cinema is produced by PNRNetworks, Boston, Massachusetts, which is solely responsible for its content. Subject Cinema theme performed by Eric Lyon. Subject Cinema is recorded and produced using Sony Vegas products. Subject Cinema is copyright 2017 by PNRNetworks under a Creative Commons license. Check out a new episode of Subject Cinema every weekend. Until next time, this is Bob Taylor for Subject Cinema, and we'll see you at the movies.
That's all.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.